It all began in 1969 in Seattle.
I shouldn't have come here.
Liz, it's great that you're finally out of the house. And besides, you need to get over the guy you were dating.
I'm a single mom who works as a secretary, so I'm not a guy's magnet.
Well, you're saying that nobody notices you, yet that guy over there has been staring at you all night.
Well, I'm going to go and put a stop.
I only have a quarter left. I should make it count. Why haven't I seen you here before?
I haven't exactly been so much at bars lately. Just moved here to Seattle, actually.
Oh, well, do you want to dance?
Sure.
They danced the night away, and after, Ted drove Liz to her house.
Thank you for the ride home, Ted.
Well, I was not letting you come back here alone. I had a really great time.
I must go. It's late. Sorry.
Oh, Ted, this is theater, my theater.
You can pay me later.
I understand if you want to leave.
Oh, is there a problem?
That's my baby, Molly.
Oh, she's really pretty.
I know. Well, hey, Ted, I'm really tired.
We can sleep if you want.
When Liz woke up, she almost had a heart attack because no one was there anymore.
Oh, sure.
Then it all went away because she found her baby with Ted having breakfast in the kitchen.
I just didn't want to wake you up.
Some years have passed and everything was great for Ted and Liz until some sketchy things started happening around their neighborhood.
In between January and July of 1974, an abnormal amount of young women were being attacked and murdered in the King County area. The suspect is a young man with brown hair and soft voice driving a Volkswagen.
This kind of reminds me of Ted, but it can't be.
This is a drawing of the suspect based on the testimonies given by the surviving victims and witnesses.
Oh my god, that's what it looks like, Ted. What should I do?
What's going on, Mommy?
Nothing, sweetheart. Everything's okay. Please go to sleep.
I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, love.
You have any information about the suspect, please call 153-763-3673.
Hello, is this the line to give information about the murderer of the King County area? I have a clue of who it might be.
Yes, ma'am. What can I help you with?
Well, I have the name of someone who could possibly be that murderer.
Okay, ma'am. What's the name?
Ted Bundy.
Okay, thank you for information. But what is his name?
Before I continue, I have a question.
Yes?
Is he going to know I gave this information to you?
No, all your information is 100% confidential. No one can have access to it.
Even though the cop assured that Elizabeth's name was going to stay private, she hung up the phone without giving personal information. Maybe it was because she thought she was mistaken, or maybe it was because of fear. Later at dawn, while Ted was driving around Utah, a police car approached his, indicating him to stop and get out of his car. Ted seemed to be annoyed and unsettled by the inconvenience, but he pulled over regardless. What else could he do?
Hi, sir. I think I might be lost.
You ran two stop signs, son.
I know I couldn't make your car. The headlights were in my eyes, and to be honest, I got a little bit spooked.
You got a license?
Yes, absolutely. Here.
So, what's a kid from Seattle doing in Granger, Utah this time of the morning?
No, I live in Salt Lake. I'm a law student over at University of Utah. My girlfriend lives in Seattle. I'm actually gonna propose to her as soon as I graduate. Trying to save her that ring, so if you can find in your heart to let me off without a ticket, I would really appreciate it.
After the officer inspected his license, Ted was taken into an interrogation room, where the police asked several questions, was even sent to court, and was charged with aggravated kidnapping and attempted criminal assault after being picked by the victim in a lineup with a bunch of other suspects. Luckily for him, his bail was reduced thanks to his lawyer and will be able to see Liz the next morning. Soon news caught up to Liz through the newspaper. She was not happy. She had confronted Ted once he got home.
Hello? Hello?
Liz walked up to Ted, not letting him even greet her properly, and was instead greeted by a slap across his face.
What was that for?
How many stop signs did you run?
What? You don't actually believe this garbage, do you do? I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to freak out.
At evening, Liz, Ted, and Molly went out to dinner, where Ted cleared some things up to Liz.
Why did the girl pick you out of the lineup then?
My lawyer found out the police showed her picture beforehand twice. Of course, I look familiar. That's not even the worst part. What happened in Utah was just dumb luck. The police already had my name. Someone gave it to them.
Do you have any idea who did that to you?
Do you see that car out there? It's been following since I got back. I think I'm being set up.
I drew a treasure shark. Its tail is as big as his whole body.
How did you get so smart?
Got it from my mommy.
Everything will be all right, Liz.
After Ted spent a while sitting on his bed, he started to find a way to escape from the prison, looking for the easiest way to do it. After a few minutes, he noticed that making a hole in the roof in the section of the lamp was the easiest way. When Ted's cell partner went to take a shower, he took out a cutter and started to make a hole in the roof.
What?
When Ted was almost done with the hole, his partner was finishing his shower, but he didn't stop. What he did was making it faster. After a couple of seconds, he finished the hole. He pushed hard to hit the part that was holding the lamp. After doing it, he jumped through and put the piece of the roof back into place.
Yes, man.
After Ted escaped, all the news were reporting about this situation.
Hello?
Turn on the TV.
The 33-year-old Utah law student is on the FBI 10 most wanted list. He was successfully eluded both police dogs and roadblocks. One of the victims he was suspected of killing was a 21-year-old University of Washington student.
When Liz went to the door, she saw a detective outside of the house. When she opened, the detective started telling her the situation of Ted and how serious it was. After a few minutes, they were talking. The detective gave a confidential folder to Liz and left. 2 weeks later, Ted was at disco in Florida, talking and having drinks with two women.
I'm studying to be a lawyer. With all these transfers and stuff, it's taken a little longer than I expected. Are you guys in a sorority?
Yeah, we both are.
Oh, I knew it.
After this, they started dancing and drinking more and more and kept like that the whole night. The next day it was in the news that the two women from Florida State University were murdered by a man in the sorority house the previous night.
The killer struck up first at Chi Omega sorority house. Police say he was armed with a heavy oak club. He clubbed and then strangled to death 20-year-old Lisa Levy and 21-year-old Margaret Bowman.
The final judgment started. Ted Bundy was without a lawyer. It was defending himself. Ted started making questions about when he was being held in Florida to Carol Ann.
Miss Boone, did you visit me while I was being held in Florida in custody in February 1978?
Yes, I did.
And to the best of your memory, did I have any sort of chip in my front tooth at that time?
No, you definitely did not.
Your Honor, I think you see what I'm getting at here. I would like to subpoena all the newspapers to turn over their negatives at me. If the chip do not occur until March 1978, 2 months after the Chi Omega crimes, and the state's odontologists say otherwise, then the state's odontologists have obviously taken my teeth and twisted them every which way but loose to fit.
Son, you can jump up and down and hang from the chandelier, but the court will not dash out for the new evidence at your command.
After the judge said this, he asked if there was another question for Carol Ann. But before she left, Ted asked her if she wanted to marry him, and she said yes. Everyone in the court was complaining, especially Larry, who got very angry, but this was completely legal. Larry started giving arguments about why Ted is guilty, and Ted was defending with poor arguments.
The state of Florida has proved beyond all reasonable doubt that the defendant, Theodore Robert Bundy, is guilty of 2 murders in the first degree and 3 attempted murders.
The police called Ted because the judge already had a verdict.
Will the defendant rise?
Ted got up from his chair and someone from the court started reading the verdict. The verdict said that Ted was guilty for every charge. Elizabeth started crying after hearing this.
While I certainly agree, it is always a tragedy. When any life is taken against one's, will it is this court reasoned judgment to be adjudicated guilty of murder in the first degree?
Elizabeth was calm at work when she received a letter, which was from Ted. The letter said that this was going to be his last letter, and that the one he deserved to hear was her. So she decided to go see him in jail the day before his death. Elizabeth was waiting for Ted when he arrived. They started talking over the phone.
Do you remember the night we met? Since the first day we started with lies.
My love, for you was never a lie. The day I saw you dancing, I fell in love with you.
I need to hear the truth from you now.
I'm not responsible for all these crimes. I would never hurt a woman.
I have to tell you something. I'm the person who gave your name to the police. It was 1974. The police published a portrait of a man who posed as a disabled person to help him and take them to the car and kill them.
At that moment, Elizabeth began to remember how that exact moment was and everything that happened. She also remembered when she was talking to the officer and the exact moment when Elizabeth asked the officer if anyone was going to find out that she was the one who made the call.
I felt guilty after making that call because I made you the suspect, but my biggest mistake was feeling guilty all those years for everything that happened.
Why do you blame yourself?
Because I could have helped save some girls, if from the first moment I hadn't trusted you. At the time, I learned that this was not my guilt and it was yours, and I only want you to accept that you did all those things.
I didn't do anything. All is going to end.
All is going to end, but with the truth.
Elizabeth started naming all the girls that Ted killed, but he insisted that he did not do it.
Did you ever want to do it to me?
I can't tell you anything right now. There are people listening.
Elizabeth began to take out the folder that the detective once gave to her with some evidence of the murders and a picture of a victim without a head.
It took me so much time to see this picture. What happened to her head?
Ted started making excuses with a nervous voice, but he denied the facts again, until she asked him again what happened to his head. Then crying, he started writing on the glass and he wrote hacksaw. Elizabeth was stunned, out of words. She abruptly stood up and left. She fell. Her head hit the wall. She just sat there, remembering all those good times she had with Ted. Had he ever thought to do those things to her? Was she lucky for surviving or unlucky for spending all those years suffering for him? How was she so foolish? She was so dumb. Sadly, she was in love and never realized that all those atrocities he made. But strangely, she felt free, relieved that she wasn't responsible for Ted's actions. She walked out of the jail feeling peaceful. Her daughter and husband were waiting for her.
I feel so betrayed. All this suffering was useless. I always thought that all of this was my fault. Finally, it's all Ted's fault. He committed all those atrocious acts. I loved him. I put my life in his hands. How did I let him stay so close to Molly?
It's fine, Mom. I'm okay. And you were the one that stopped this. If you hadn't given the police the tip, how many more women would have he murdered?
Are you all right now?
I am.
I'm proud of you, Mom.
Theodore Robert Bundy was executed on January 24, 1989. Days before his execution, he confessed to more than 30 murders. It's believed that the number of people he murdered was much higher. The Cascade Mountains was the place where he buried his victims, the same place where he asked his ashes to be scattered. Elizabeth and Molly are doing fine. While Ted was on death row, Carl Ann gave birth to their daughter. This story was based on real events. Ted Bundy was a real serial killer.